I want to be richer than everyone in this village. I want to walk on silver and gold. I want everyone to respect me. I want to be invisible.
Nadia whispered this into the strange mirror, not knowing her greedy words would soon cost her everything and teach her a painful lesson. Nadia lived in Oji village. She was blessed with striking beauty, but her heart was rotten with pride. She was deeply wicked and entirely lazy. While the rest of the village woke up at dawn to fetch water and sweep their compounds, Nadia refused to lift a single finger. Her mother was a poor widow who carried the weight of their survival alone. Every morning, her mother walked miles to their dusty farm, working under the burning sun, just to bring home a small basket of yams. When her exhausted mother returned, asking for a cup of water, Nadia would just hiss and turn away. "I am not your servant," Nadia would snap. Nadia spent her days doing nothing but judging others. One hot afternoon, she walked down to the village market. She did not go to buy or sell. She went just to mock people. She laughed at the farmers with dirt on their hands. She insulted the wrappers of the market women, calling them cheap and ugly. She kicked dust at hungry children, walking through the stalls with her nose turned up. She believed the world simply owed her riches just for existing. As the sun began to set, Nadia finally turned to walk back home after insulting everyone in the market. The village road was unusually quiet and empty. Suddenly, something shining on the grass caught her eye. It was a mirror. The glass was cracked down the middle, but the frame was breathtaking. It was made of a small metal, carved with strange, beautiful patterns. Nadia had never seen anything so expensive in her life. She could not resist it. She bent down, dusted off the dirt, and picked it up. She stared at her reflection in the cracked glass. She had no idea the mirror was not ordinary. To her, it was just a beautiful, expensive object she could keep for herself. She held it tight to her chest and hurried home. Walking past and ignoring her mother, without saying a word, she locked herself in her room. Nadia sat on her bed, smiling and excited about the expensive treasure she had just picked up from the roadside, thinking it was simply her lucky day. Little did she know, this strange mirror was not a blessing. It was a trap, and it was about to teach her the most terrifying lesson of her life. That night, Nadia sat on her thin, uncomfortable mat in the dark. She stared into the cracked mirror, admiring her own face while hating everything else around her. "Look at my skin," she muttered to her reflection. "I am too beautiful to be sleeping on the floor. I wish I had a thick, soft mattress with expensive velvet covers instead of this dirty mat." She tossed the mirror carelessly onto the floor, closed her eyes, and let sleep take over. The next morning, Nadia woke up, but the ground beneath her was no longer hard and cold. She opened her eyes and gasped loudly. Her old torn mat was gone. Instead, she was lying on a massive, soft bed covered in rich red velvet sheets. Her heart pounded in her chest. She looked down at the cracked mirror on the floor. The mirror had listened. It actually had power. Nadia quickly grabbed the heavy metal frame. Her hands shook with wild excitement. Her eyes grew wide with pure greed. "I want gold," she demanded loudly, staring intensely into the glass. "I want chests filled with heavy gold. I want the most beautiful coral beads and the most expensive wrappers in the world." She sat on her new velvet bed and waited. She waited from morning until the hot afternoon. Her mother knocked gently on the door, tired from the farm, asking Nadia to come out and share a small piece of yam. Nadia shouted at her to go away and locked the door tighter. She waited until the sun went down, and the village grew completely dark. Nothing happened. The room stayed exactly the same. Angry and deeply disappointed, Nadia threw the mirror into the corner and finally fell asleep. But when she opened her eyes the next morning, a bright, blinding light filled the room. Her jaw dropped. Her tiny room was completely overflowing with riches. Heavy gold pieces were stacked high against the walls. The most expensive, colorful wrappers she had ever seen were folded neatly in the corners. Thick, glowing coral beads were scattered everywhere. Nadia screamed with joy. She quickly threw away her old, faded clothes. She tied the most beautiful, expensive wrapper around her waist and piled heavy gold and coral beads around her neck, wrists, and ankles. Her pride grew 3 times larger. She felt like a god. She kicked open her door, completely ignoring her mother's shocked face, and marched straight down to the village market. She wanted everyone to see her new wealth. She paraded around the dirt paths, making sure the gold clinked loudly with every step. She mocked the poor farmers and laughed loudly at the market women she had insulted the day before. "Look at me," Nadia boasted, shaking her gold bracelets in their faces. "Look at my wealth. You are all peasants, and I am a queen. I am above you all." Blind with arrogance and drunk on her new riches, she basked in the jealous stares of the villagers, completely unaware of the terrible price she was about to pay. Nadia returned to her room that evening, her heart full of wicked pride. But as she looked at her room, she decided the gold was not enough. The jealous stares from the villagers were not enough. Her greed simply had no limit. She picked up the mirror from the floor. She wanted ultimate power. She wanted to be treated like a god among the villagers. Without thinking twice, Nadia did the unthinkable. She grabbed the mirror. "I want to be richer than everyone," Nadia whispered into the mirror. "I want to walk on gold. I want everyone to respect me. I want to be invisible."
And I want to be
She used the word, thinking it would make her untouchable, a supreme being that no one could ever defeat. She smiled a wicked smile, closed her eyes, and went to sleep on her velvet bed. The next morning, the bright sun woke her up. Nadia stretched and reached out to grab a heavy gold necklace to wear to the market. But as she tried to lift it, her fingers felt like air. The heavy gold slipped through her grip and dropped to the floor immediately. Frowning, she tried to pick up a beautiful velvet wrapper. It fell right out of her hands. She could not hold anything. A cold panic grabbed her chest. Nadia rushed out of her room to look for her mother. Her mother was outside in the dirt compound, tying her old wrapper to go to the farm. "Mommy!" Nadia shouted. "Help me!" Her mother did not turn around. She just kept tying her wrapper, looking right through the space where Nadia stood. "I am right here," Nadia screamed, waving her hands wildly. But her mother could not hear her. Her mother could not see her. Nadia panicked. She ran back inside her room and stood in front of the mirror hung on the wall. She gasped in absolute horror. She could not see her reflection. The mirror had granted her exact wish. That was when it dawned on her. She had not asked the mirror to make her invincible and untouchable amongst all of the others. Instead, it had made her invisible. She had disappeared into thin air. She was just like a ghost. Terrified, she ran out of the compound and rushed through the village. She sprinted down to the busy market, crying and screaming for help. She stood right in front of the market women she had mocked the day before, begging them to look at her. But they just continued trading. Nobody could see her. Nobody could hear her. Nadia broke down in tears, in the middle of the dirty village road. She wanted all the riches in the world, and she got them. But now, she could not even touch a single piece of her own gold. Almost 24 hours passed. Nadia was trapped as an unseen ghost in her own home. Evening came and her mother grew deeply worried. Nadia stood by and watched, completely helpless, as her poor, tired mother walked around the village. Her mother was crying, asking everyone with a broken voice if they had seen her only daughter. Seeing her mother looking so helpless, tired, and broken finally shattered Nadia's proud heart instantly. After realizing the mirror hadn't just given her wealth, it had taken something even bigger from her. Nadia ran back to her room. She fell to her knees on the cold floor and grabbed the mirror. She knew deep down this was the cause of her problems. Tears streamed down her face. Her wicked pride was completely gone. She realized that without her mother, she was nothing, and her cursed gold was entirely useless. "Please," Nadia begged, her voice shaking in the empty room. Please give me my life back. I am so sorry. I will change. I promise I will work hard. I will support my mother. I will be a good daughter. Just let my mother see me again. Nadia wept uncontrollably. For a split second, nothing happened. But as soon as those genuine words left her mouth, the mirror began to shimmer. A strange light flashed, and the cursed mirror suddenly scattered into pieces on the floor. Instantly, everything went back to normal. The massive velvet bed turned back into her thin, torn bed. The heavy gold disappeared. All the beautiful wrappers and glowing coral beads vanished into thin air. Her room was back to its original pour and empty again. But Nadia had never been happier to see it. She could feel the hard floor beneath her knees. She was real again. "Mommy!" Nadia screamed. She rushed outside into the dirt compound. Her mother turned around, her face stained with tears. "Nadia! My daughter! Where have you been?" her mother cried out. Nadia tried to explain, but words failed her. She just rushed forward, threw her arms around her mother, and hugged her tightly. She cried into her mother's shoulder, without saying a single word. Her mother hugged her back, holding her as if she would never let go. When the tears finally stopped and her mother was asleep, Nadia went back into her room. She carefully picked up the scattered pieces of the mirror. She walked outside and threw the pieces far away into the cold night. Nadia truly learned her lesson. By the very next morning, she woke up before the sun. She picked up a water bucket, ready to head to the stream, and planned to join her mother on the farm right after. But as she walked down the path, she passed the exact spot where she had thrown the mirror the night before. She stopped and looked. The mirror was completely gone. There was no broken glass, no metal frame, no debris at all. There was just an empty patch of grass. Nadia stood there in the quiet morning breeze. She knew the truth. The mirror had not been destroyed. It had simply moved on to somewhere else, ready to teach another proud person a life-changing lesson. If you enjoy my stories, please do not forget to like, follow, and comment where you are watching from. See you in our next video.